There is some fantastic news for the left and for people in general coming out of Bolivia. Before I get to the result of the election there, a little reminder of the reporting that I did a year ago. This was discussed widely on the left about the right-wing coup that pushed out indigenous leader Evo Morales, who was representing the Socialist Party in Bolivia, had a very successful run reducing poverty. I'll get to some of those details in a second. But I had videos on this. This is about a year ago. Bolivia's coup and Canada's cowardice with Cristo Avalis, another YouTuber. We discussed how Justin Trudeau supported this right-wing coup. Also, my initial reporting on the coup that forced out Evo Morales. I'll link to these below the video in the description box if you want a little more background on that right-wing coup. And this was something that was also pushed out by, the New York Times, Washington Post, traditional U.S. media also backed this right-wing coup until later on in June. The New York Times admitted to key falsehoods that drove last year's coup in Bolivia, falsehoods peddled by the U.S., its media, and the Times, as Glenn Greenwald says here. And just a little detail on the success that Evo Morales had in Bolivia. Poverty in this landlocked South American state fell from 59.9% in 2006 when Morales first came to power to 34.6% in 2017, with extreme poverty more than halving from 38.28% to 15.2% over the same period. So he had incredible success in Bolivia before this right-wing coup pushed him out. But today, breaking. Arce, leader of Morales' party, wins Bolivia election in first round. So I'll get to the breakdown here. 52.4%. They're still counting the vote, but because he's so far ahead, even the right-wing leader, as I'll show you, has conceded that he has won this election, that his party has won the election. So you see here, it's not even close. Has a majority of the vote, even though it's split among all these parties. So two private surveys projected that Luis Arce, the candidate for Morales' Movimiento al Socialismo, MAS party, secured more than 50% of the vote in the ballot on Sunday, with his closest rival, the centrist former president Carlos Mesa, receiving about 30%. Arce, a former finance minister under Morales, claimed victory in a late-night broadcast from La Paz. Quote, "We have reclaimed democracy, and above all, we have reclaimed hope," said the 57-year-old UK-educated economist, widely known as Lucho. So, of course, Arce here was pivotal to the success that Evo Morales had in Bolivia. So he had, of course, a lot of support here from the people of Bolivia in this election. And here's his message on Twitter. "Very grateful for the support and trust of the Bolivian people. We recover democracy and we will regain stability and social peace, united with dignity and sovereignty." And Wyatt Reed here, just tweeting out, saying the results are way beyond the margin of error. There's no way around it at this point. We've just witnessed a massive first round win by the mass. The Bolivian people have rejected fascism and neoliberal austerity and handed a historic mandate to Luis Arce and the left. Incredible. Janine Áñez, who was the president, fascist leader, the coup leader, and then she ended up not running in this election because she was despised by all. Even she here admits to the loss, saying, "We do not yet have an official count, but from the data we have, Mr. Arce and Mr. Shaquin Haka," there's no way I can say this, but this is his VP, Shakwanka, I think that's what it is, have won the election. I congratulate the winners and ask them to govern with Bolivia and democracy in mind. Which, of course, the idea that Janine Áñez is the one telling them to govern with democracy in mind when she's the one that led a fascist coup. Okay, but there you go. So she accepts the results. This, of course, is what I was talking about, the New York Times reporting on when she pulled out of the election. Bolivia's interim president pulls out of the election. She was hated by all, had to not even run in the race. Evo Morales tweeting out after the victory saying, "Sisters and brothers, the will of the people has been imposed. There has been a resounding victory for the mass IPSP. Our political movement will have a majority in both houses. We have returned millions. Now we are going to restore dignity and freedom to the people. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to do a little bit here on the press. As of course, the way this is being written about right now is the way that they always write about anytime it's a leftist leader. They're always very skeptical. Here's the Associated Press, which is supposed to be, you know, just buy the book, looking at the facts. Here's their tweet about the news. Bolivians waited nervously for the results of Sunday's high-stakes presidential election, even as Evo Morales preempted authorities' slow vote count and declared his hand-picked candidate the victor. When you have Jeanine Áñez accepting the results of the election, how the hell can you write the news like this? As if, oh, they're claiming victory, but we got to see what's going on here. No, they won. But this is what the press does. Adam Johnson here, fantastic tweet. This is exactly, when you are reading any article or hearing any reporting, keep an ear out for quotes like this, for terminology or wording like this. Editor's reminder, elections in the global south have, quote, hand-picked successors. White countries have party leaders and vice presidents. Black and brown electeds have loyalists. I'll show you an example of this in a moment. I was doing some research for this story and I came across this. Black and brown electeds have loyalists. White electeds have supporters. Black and brown countries have strongholds, not bases of support. This is, you will notice this. If you save this tweet, take a picture of this, take a screenshot, reference this when you are reading articles about elections going on around the world and look for terminology like this. I will show you an example. So this is a story from 10 months ago here. There was a massacre of supporters of Evo Morales during a protest by Jeanine Áñez, by the fascist coup, by their army. Some of the reporting here. The right-wing interim government that took power after Morales' toppling on November 10th has rejected claims the army was behind Tuesday's killings, which came during confrontations between troops and Morales' loyalists outside a fuel storage depot the latter had been blockading. Loyalists! Why can't it just be his supporters? No, they got to be loyalists. They're blind loyalty to the leader. Instead of just, no, they're his supporters who are correct in their criticism, as the New York Times eventually acknowledged. But again, keep an eye out for that all this terminology. It is exactly how the media pushes these various or how they frame these various issues. So fantastic victory here. Of course, we'll keep an eye on what the actual result ends up being, but it'll likely be close to this, as he's so far ahead. But look, we got to take good news when it happens. This is fantastic news. Also, a recent great result in New Zealand as well. I'll have a separate video that discusses that briefly. But amazing, and let's hope we continue to see incredible victories like this around the world.